Welcome all to the Red Pill. I am Mike, aka Veteran Crypto, and I'm going to pass the baton off to our new host, Paulo. What up, Paulo?
Hey, how's it going, Mike? Hey, Jeff, and hey, David. I got a little
Howdy.
intro because our topic is quite hot, I think. So I thought about something like this. Welcome to the Red Pill, the show where we talk about the hidden side of money, alternative history, and the so-called conspiracy theories that often end up to be confirmation theories. And tonight, we talk about Bill Gates. Once he was considered the good guy. And you probably guys remember it was a time when media was heavily centralized. Today, he's being investigated because of strange stories. So I have a question for you guys. Do you remember, and we're going to get to it, do you guys remember when Bill Gates was considered the good guy?
Yeah. No, I remember, back when he was running Microsoft and, he was that, silly little dude that, came up with Windows and, he was benign. He was harmless. He started a little company in his garage and, with, that's who he was. And
He was friends with Steve Jobs. There was
Yeah.
no rivalry, apparently.
Yeah, no, it's like, but I don't know what happened, but he got some kind of God complex or something, trying to get everybody to eat bugs and 3D printed meat and shit. I don't know what happened to him.
Do you
I
remember
don't
that,
know.
David? When he used to be a good guy, the richest guy, he just want to make the world a better place with computers, personal computers, and that kind of thing.
I mean, I never thought of him as a good guy, ever. Even when I was a kid. I always thought he was a weirdo. And then to learn that, he was visiting that island, that kind of checks out to me.
But I don't know if I believe you, David. Even in the 90s, in the 2000s, I remember when on the media, Bill Gates was a genius. That guy's a role model. He's like a nerd that now he's rich, he's friend with Warren Buffett. I remember that time. It was because today this is kind of tainted. We just think of, well, I think of him just like Mike said. He wants to make us eat bugs. I see nothing good about him, but I remember when I was a teenager or a kid that he used to be like, that guy's not bad.
Yeah, man, I never thought of him that way. I always thought of him as some weird guy. And Mike, it was funny that you mentioned that he started a business in his garage, just with a little $1 million loan from his dad,
I think it was, I mean, to be fair, I think it was like a couple $100,000 or something like that. But
it was
yeah,
$1 million. It was
it was
$1 million. Yeah.
But still, I mean, it's like they literally started it in the garage and managed to build it up into Microsoft. I mean, it's still with $1 million, back then. I mean, that was a lot of money, but I mean, they were doing something that was unheard of. So I'll tell you, that was a great fucking investment that his parents made.
Well, what was the actual story behind the Microsoft intellectual property?
It's not good. It's theft.
Didn't they?
It's a story.
Yeah.
Go ahead and tell it, David. You probably tell it better than I would.
No, Jeff. I don't know it. Yeah,
I don't know the whole story either, but I know that there's.
I know it, but I'm going to slaughter it. But I mean, if you guys want to look it up, go ahead while I do attempt to tell it. But
cut it up, Mike.
Basically, what happened is they were working for, what was that other, Xerox. That Xerox was, what was it called? It was some girl's name. They were basically creating an operating system, and they opted to just trash it. And I guess he was working on it or something like that, and basically took it, and I think he bought it off of them for like some insanely cheap price, and then basically made it into Windows. Beefed it up and did a bunch of stuff to it and made it Windows. But if you guys want to look it up, like I said, I did not do the story justice.
Do you guys remember Windows Vista? You remember that shit?
Yes.
Oh, dude. I'm 52. I'm 52 years old. I remember vividly before computers, before computers. Back when I was a kid, like computers for the most part were like I remember the first one. It was called a PET computer. Is a PET, and it was this one like big piece. It had a monitor, and then it had the big bottom part that you put the massive the massive like discs in, the floppy discs. And then you had to actually type in load this, run this. You had to actually code, and they were teaching us how to make like a calculator and like a lot of basic shit when I was in elementary school. But that's why I knew, like, even as a kid, that it was a really big deal. What Microsoft came up with is it's called a GUI, a graphical user interface. And so instead of having to type in lines of code, when you double click on something, you just see that you're double clicking an icon. In the background, the computer is still doing that code. It's saying load this, run this. It's still doing commands in the background. It's just we're the monkey telling it what to do. So that's basically what Windows is. It just allows you to the average person to be able to use a computer without having to be a fucking program.
But that's not how it started off, though. It started off as DOS. You remember DOS?
Yes.
So the GUI, wasn't that Apple? Wasn't that Macintosh? Yeah. Pretty sure that the backbone, the intellectual property for Windows and Microsoft back in the day was stolen, man.
Well, that's the thing, David. Did we know that at the time in the 90s and early 2000s?
Yeah, a lot of people knew it, but it wasn't mainstream though. And then, like Microsoft Office. So there's a story around Office where they basically cloned it from, I don't recall exactly what the story was, but they stole that too. It's like,
instead of us just guessing at it, why don't we fucking use the internet?
Interwebs. Yeah.
And there's the story with Internet Explorer and the browser antitrust. Like, if there's a non-compete lawsuit that was filed in the late 90s too, there's that whole thing, and it's like, oh my gosh. Well, didn't he have to resign from
That's the reality.
After that?
It was IBM. That was it, not Xerox. So Windows had its own standalone operating system. It was just a graphical skin or shell that ran on top of MS-DOS, like I was saying. Bill Gates didn't actually write MS-DOS. He bought it. The backstory: in 1980, IBM was preparing to launch its first personal computer, the IBM PC, and urgently needed an operating system. They approached Microsoft. The purchase, Microsoft didn't have an operating system ready. But Paul Allen, Gates' co-founder, knew of a local programmer named Tim Patterson at Seattle Computer Products. Patterson had written a quick operating system called QDOS, Quick and Dirty Operating System, later named 86DOS. Microsoft bought the rights to QDOS, 86DOS, for roughly $50,000. They tweaked it, renamed it MS-DOS, and licensed it to IBM while brilliantly keeping the rights to license it to other computer manufacturers. This deal made Microsoft a powerhouse. So, here it is, Xerox. So the pioneers, Xerox PARC in the 1970s. Researchers at the Xerox Palo Alto Research Center invented the modern GUI, complete with a mouse, windows, and menus for a computer they called Alto. Xerox, however, didn't successfully commercialize it. So Steve Jobs visited Xerox. So I must have been mixing up Apple and Microsoft. So it was Steve Jobs visited Xerox in 1979, saw the GUI, and realized it was the future of computing. Apple adapted these concepts to build the Apple Lisa. That was it. And ultimately, the highly successful Macintosh in 1984. The Microsoft connection. Because Microsoft was hired by Apple to write early software like Word and Excel for the Macintosh, Bill Gates and his team had early access to Mac prototypes. Recognizing where the wind was blowing, Gates set Microsoft to work on their own GUI. In 1985, Microsoft released Windows 1, a graphical user interface that sat directly on top of the MS-DOS they had bought 5 years prior. So yeah, it sounds like there was some really crafty things that he did, keeping the rights to the MS-DOS and working with Steve Jobs, and maybe sniping some ideas from there. So yeah, there was some.
So not illegal, just kind of maybe unethical. Yeah, unethical. But meh. And so now it's like, well, this guy is verified being a complete dirtbag in the Epstein files. So that's like verifiable now. And that's why, isn't that the reason why Warren Buffett decided to cut ties with him just recently?
After 35 years, yes.
Yeah. And Buffett should have known. He should have known decades ago.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So, Joseph,
yeah, but apparently, according to the mainstream media, he just discovered this with us guys. Maybe he's been watching X lately, and after 35 years, he's aware of it now.
So, really quick, Joseph, you can't see it on the other channel. I put it out on the No.pro, and I actually put it in the old Discord as well. We took the red pill and we took Sovereign Soil, moved it to the old channel. And then Jeff's music stuff and the AI music is going to go on a separate channel, because having all the channels together, I guess, was messing up the algorithm, and that's what was holding back our growth. So, I mean, a couple of days we did it, and it's obvious it's actually helping quite a bit. So, sorry, we're shuffling stuff around. We're always doing something here.
Yeah. Man.
Oh, okay. Because I was looking for it as well. All right.
All right, Paulo, back to you.
Yeah, but I got the link and okay, cool.
Yeah, and we're going to be putting the brother channels on the YouTube, so that way you can find those easy.
Yeah, I see it here, Unfiltered and Sovereign.
Yeah,
it's right there, and it says live.
Yeah. So no, I already put it. So if no matter what channel of ours you go to, you'll be able to find the other ones.
Do you guys remember that South Park episode where Microsoft was buying everything that was working out? So if there is like a little company that they might say, yeah, we buy that and we destroy it.
Yeah. No, it's their track record. Like it's same thing with Google. I mean, really, any major business is, if they see something that potentially could be a competition, they buy it. Scrap it, integrate it, whatever, and just because they want to stay on top. But there's all kinds of stories where they've said, we're going to buy you, and if you don't let us buy you, then we're going to destroy you. We're basically it's like a hostile takeover, basically.
So this guy, Bill Gates, isn't he up to some really shisty shenanigans now with ticks? Like, have you guys seen that? Is that real?
The tick thing is real. So the tick is the Lone Star tick, and it's they're carrying a virus. I guess it's new, and it's called alpha gal, and it's short for something Latin, I'm sure. But if you get bit by it, you are deathly allergic to mammalian meat. So you can't eat deer, you can't eat elk, you can't eat cow, goat, anything that's a mammal. You can't eat it. You can eat chicken, you can eat fish, but you can't eat any mammals. And so there's unsubstantiated stories going around that he developed this because he came out with that might be meat or whatever it is that it's called.
Beyond meat.
Yeah.
Beyond,
yeah, might be meat. I don't know. Beat your meat, whatever it is. But the conspiracy theory goes that he created the virus and the ticks, and that these farmers and people out in the rural areas are finding these metal boxes, and they're claiming that they're seeing them getting dumped out of airplanes, and they're supposedly full of these ticks. I can't verify this, but it's all over social media. You can check for yourself, But
were those boxes actually found? Because I was looking I was looking like I don't see evidence. I'm not saying he's a saint. I'm not saying he's a good guy, but that the tick part itself, and of course, probably he's not going to be live streaming. Say, hey guys, we are releasing the bugs now. We are releasing the ticks to bite you. But I don't see any evidence apart from that he wants to depopulate the world that he is releasing ticks.
Well, yeah, no, I definitely have not seen anything that. Yeah, here you go. Yeah, you know what? Let's play Alex Jones. I found the real Alex Jones talking about Bill Gates. And all right, we gotta share this. Hold on. Let's see. All right, here we go. We're gonna go.
Weaponized GMO tick research with Lyme disease around the country. And then wherever these research centers are, people then find these boxes full of baby ticks just pouring out all over the place. And suddenly the Lone Star tick is spreading all over the country in places it never was just a few years ago. And it's got weaponized Lyme disease in it that is even stronger and then gives you alpha-gal syndrome where you can't ever eat red meat again and it can even kill you. And then magically, don't worry, Bill Gates' lab-grown meat won't do that to you. So you see his business model. And he's been caught before releasing GMO mosquitoes in Brazil and in Florida, all over Latin America and the U.S. It's just incredible. And we have all these papers from the UN and the WWF saying 10 years ago, 5 years ago, last year, oh, we need to release ticks on people that bite you with alpha-gal, like the Lone Star tick. He says, oh, like the Lone Star tick, and then you won't be able to eat beef anymore, and that'll save the earth because cow farts are back.
All right, so let's we'll pause that there for a minute. So, what are your guys' thoughts on that?
Well, fuck yeah. Alex Jones is a baller, man. He's been coming out with the fire for decades now. And all his conspiracy theories, man, have been proven to be true. Like, this guy,
I won't say all of them, but the majority of them, yes. The majority of them, yes.
Overwhelming majority of them.
He really fucked up with that school shooting in 2012, though. That was a big fuck up. But dude, like this alpha gal. So this is just like one thing that Gates is responsible for, allegedly. I mean, he is allegedly also someone who was talking about how there was going to be COVID before COVID, and you were going to have, these vaccine products. It's just like,
well, hasn't he like publicly said that we need to decrease the population?
That's what I just shared. I just shared on our private chat here, and you might want to play that. That's Bill Gates himself speaking about saying like we need to depopulate and saying how we're going to do that.
From the TED Talk, right?
Correct.
Hold on.
Yeah.
I'll
he
play
sneaks it in there too. He said through vaccination and all this other stuff, we can decrease the population. It's like, wait, what?
We really have to get down to near zero. Can't we just, cut it in half or a quarter? And the answer is that until we get near to zero, the temperature will continue to rise.
So
that's a big challenge. It's very different than saying, we're a 12-foot high truck trying to get under a 10-foot bridge and we can just sort of squeeze under. This is something that has to get to zero. Now, we put out a lot of carbon dioxide every year, over 26 billion tons. For each American, it's about 20 tons.
See, and I kind of call bullshit on this because the Earth has been, they've proven this with science. They've done core samples, and there's little air bubbles that are trapped in the ice that literally it's like a time machine. They can do these core samples, and they can test the CO2 levels that were in the atmosphere during certain times. They can see what contaminants or pollutants or whatever. Going back hundreds of thousands, if not millions of years. And they've proven that the Earth has been much hotter in the past and has been much colder in the past. And it's done it way before humans. And actually, they've shown that up until about 14,000 years ago, that the Earth had huge swings in temperature, where it would go into like mini ice ages and then get hot and then get go back into an ice age and get hot, and it relatively quickly. Like sometimes in a couple of decades, sometimes a couple of 100 years, sometimes longer, but super volatile. And for some reason, for the past like 13 to 15,000 years, and they think that that's why humans have been able to settle and have cities and agriculture, because before that we had to be nomadic. We had to move wherever the resources were or we would die. So when the climate stabilized, then humans became more sedimentary or whatever that word is. They stopped being nomadic, and they started building culture. They started building architecture, and they started with agriculture. So they didn't have to move around to find food. And that's where you see like ancient Mesopotamia and things like that. Because before that, everybody moved around. So I don't think that we're going to put more CO2 into the atmosphere than a bunch of volcanoes and fucking asteroids hitting the Earth.
But Mike, this is a complex system. Okay, Earth's climate is a complex system, and so this little thing, 26 billion tons of CO2, this assumes that number one, CO2 is bad. It
Correct.
assumes that number two, that CO2 is
trees eat or consume.
Should be avoided.
So that it should make the Earth greener.
So, but here's the thing: is 26 billion tons is CO2 bad? Number one, I think that it's dubious to say whether it's bad. I don't know that it is. Number two, is this figure of 26 billion tons a large number in the context of the entire globe? I don't know that it is. This looks like fear mongering to me. And the policies that have been pushed as a result of this have been nothing short of catastrophic economically. All you got to do is look at Europe or look at California to see the catastrophe that they've implemented on their populations as a result of these green new scam agenda items. And I think that the real fallacy here is we don't think in long enough time scales. So if you wanted to terraform the Earth, how long would that reasonably take? Probably not 200 years, probably 20,000 years or something like that.
Well, and so it would depend on what technology you had and what you were trying to accomplish.
Sure, but I'm not convinced that this figure actually means anything. It scares people.
Well, and let's that's a valid point. It scares people. It invokes emotion. And if you ever notice that anytime they're trying to manipulate the population, they always try to invoke emotion. Politicians do it. Freaking, governments do it. They did it with COVID. Terrorism. Anytime that they want to implement something or do something, they always invoke an emotion, because when you're in an emotional state, you're easier to manipulate. That's why we teach on the node. In DeFi University in investing, to keep your emotions out of it. Do not allow emotions to trickle in.
It's for your safety. It's for the children. We're just protecting the children.
That was going to be my point. You ever notice all of this shit? It always ends up where they need more control, they need more taxes, they need more money so that they can fix the problem. Always.
Dude,
listen,
honestly,
at the risk as sounding like David, I want to ask you guys a question. The green agenda, what percentage of it would you guys say it's just BS?
All of it.
The whole green agenda.
All of it. The entire thing. I think Paulo, I think the entire thing is complete and utter contemptible bullshit. And I think that, honestly, brother, I think that what's going on, and this is going to sound nuts, but I'm going to say it anyway. I think that these people at the top that are making these rules and these laws or whatever, I think that we saw in the Epstein files, these people are literally raping children and potentially eating children. And I think what they're actually doing here is, dude, this is going to sound nuts, but
here we go.
Bro,
Jeff, where's your
The red
tinfoil
pill.
hat? Put your tinfoil hat on, Jeff. Hurry,
The red
before the
pill.
thoughts get in.
Bro,
Before the thoughts get in, Jeff.
bro, you gotta protect your brain. You gotta be careful, man. I'm coming with the fire.
Yeah,
tonight,
I'm gonna turn
dude.
off my camera as well. So you say it, David.
Yeah.
All right, go ahead, David. Go ahead.
I think that demons are real. I think that these people have been doing blood magic rituals by sacrificing children and eating them as an offering to demons, like straight up demonic entities. I think that the reason why they do that shit is because it's real and it works. And I think that these demons follow bloodlines across centuries. So for maybe even thousands of years, I think that they've been following bloodlines. And I think that's possibly why you see, at the very top of civilizations, you see the same families running everything for centuries and centuries and centuries. And I think that they've been doing these blood magic rituals, man. And I think that this shit works. And that's why
Isn't
they've been
King
able to
Charles related to Vlad the Vampire or something? He is. King
No.
Charles, he said that publicly. He said, no, my ancestors. I don't know. I would need to look into it and the numbers, but it seems there was a lady that was researching the bloodline of all the presidents of the United States. It's a conspiracy fact, okay? I would need to dig deeper into it. But it seems that even to some extent, we're all connected. Okay.
Hey, Paulo, I fact checked this. I know what you're talking about because to me, I was like that was mind blowing if it was true. She did the chart, like supposedly she did this chart.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah, they were all related and stuff like that. I actually fact checked it, and
Jeff is trying to keep the bad thoughts out of the brain.
There you go, Jeff, the tinfoil wizard.
I love it, man.
You fact checked it, Mike. But
yeah,
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Jeff.
Oh no, the fact check thing. Like, what was the result of that?
It just said that it wasn't true. That there are some presidents that share ancestry, but not all of them. They were making it out to where it's like all of them were related.
Okay.
In some way, and that wasn't the case.
But the British royal family apparently is.
Oh yeah, no, all of Europe. So it was common practice for thousands of years where they intermarried. Where they would marry each other because they wanted to keep the royal blood, and so they just constantly inbred. And and that's kind of where the joke comes from, like why the royal family looks all jacked up with like big teeth and like elongated heads and like
a little bit Somalian kind of.
Yeah. They look kind of like Mongoloidish.
Yeah, exactly.
Why, and that's why they say that the Princess Diana, her sons actually look somewhat, they look normal. They're actually handsome because they got some new blood in there.
Well, she had one kid who doesn't look exactly like her husband.
He looks almost exactly like her personal trainer.
Yes.
The redheaded prince. Looks almost. Have you
that
seen
sounds like my family?
Have you seen the side by side?
Yes, I have.
Yeah. It's like it's like a clone. It's like spit.
Oh, Trudeau. He's another one, man. He looks. Yes, he looks just like Fidel Castro, bro.
Oh,
it makes a lot of sense because these countries.
Oh man, just like
I would like to see that. I'm not aware of that conspiracy fact.
And his mom had so they were visiting Castro around that time, and there's a weird story behind it, but yeah, it's
what the fuck were they doing visiting the dictator of a communist country?
Hold on real quick, we got to fact check this. So Bruno says, and I know, Paulo, you said you speak Portuguese, so
correct.
Bruno says in Brazil they eat a boy's foot. It's called pé de moleque or something.
Paulo, how do you pronounce that? It's a dessert.
De moleque. But that's a dessert. But it's not.
But that's a dessert. Whoa! He infiltrated. He's a cannibal.
It's like a Reese's cup or something. It's just like a sweet. It's a treat.
Reese's cup.
But it's not made of human flesh. It's just a sweet, sugary thing.
All right. All right, we'll believe you.
But it's a good show.
Oh, I got my eye on you. I got my eye on you. All right. So it says that actually is true. The majority of U.S. presidents are related to one ancestor, King John of England. All right, you know what? Let's actually do that live. Let's look it up. Who wants to share their screen and look that up?
We'll do it live.
We'll do it live.
We'll do it live.
We'll do it live.
God
I don't
damn
want to
piece
do
of
it.
shit.
You don't want to do it? Paulo, you going to do it?
Yeah, I can do it.
All right,
Hold
share
on.
your screen. Share your screen.
Yeah, give me 30 seconds. Hold on.
Don't make me count down.
This 26 billion tons of CO2 thing, this is complete bullshit. That green new scam, dude. All you got to do is ask a European, how much are you paying for electricity, bro?
You know what? While Paulo pulls that up, let's play some more Alex Jones.
Fuck yeah.
All right, here we go. Here we go.
Because they would tell you 10 years ago, 5 years ago, last year,
you're supposed to be doing
what
research.
they're going to do. Yeah, here's one of the little guys at the WF right there. By the way, the WF just had another meeting and last week, and John Kerry said we need to censor everybody in Europe and America for the New World Order because if people have a chance to listen to other ideas, well, we can't control their minds.
I agree with that.
100%.
100%, dude. Like, what do you think? Like, basically all the distractions in the modern world. They've gotten us to where we have an attention span of a fucking cracked out squirrel. Where if something isn't a sound bite or a short, anything longer than like 15 seconds, people can't focus these days. I mean, they announced that there's aliens. They announced the U.S. government through the CIA was part of the JFK assassination. Basically, every conspiracy theory that has ever been spouted has basically been proven true, and people didn't even bat an eye. I mean, the world was shut down. The entire world was shut down for a bad flu. Yes, a lot of people died. A lot of people died from the regular.
They died from the shot. Died from the shot.
The thing is, what I think is more accurate is if you look at the data, because I always like to go back to the data with everything, because it takes my emotion and my personal feelings out of it. If you look at the data, the people that died from the regular flu per year, it's a decent amount of people. I forget the exact number. I mean, it's in like the tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of people that died from the flu in the U.S.
Probably not hundreds, but tens, I think.
It goes almost to zero during the time of COVID. And so basically any strain of flu that somebody died from, it was COVID. And I've said this before. I was dating somebody at the time that worked at a major hospital in the administrative, she was a head of a department. I don't want to dox her. But she was telling me that she would sit in meetings and they'd be saying that they got a $30,000. And I've said this on other shows, a $30,000, what would it be called from the government?
Grant.
I'm going to call it a grant. It's probably the wrong one. But basically, they got $30,000 for every positive test. Like if somebody died in the hospital and they gave them a test, didn't matter how they died. If they could show that they tested positive for COVID, they got $30,000 cha-ching.
So Mike, I was working in healthcare during the pandemic, during the lockdowns for 24 months. And the thing about the COVID event, I don't even think it was a pandemic, bro, to be completely honest. So the COVID event, you had a year where there was no shot. And so what that means is you had a year's worth of data that you could then compare pre-shot and post-shot. And the mortality figures post-shot go straight up and to the right. And guess what? They still haven't come back down.
No, so, they've proven that there's a lot of people, dude. All those people that were passing the fuck out on live TV that got the vaccine,
remember died suddenly. Remember that died suddenly. That thing.
Oh yeah, that's what I was about to say. Have you all of you guys watched it? Died suddenly.
Well, no, they were like on camera. There was a bunch of like high profile athletes, like soccer players, like freaking, just like drop dead of like cardiac arrest.
Right. You might watch that movie and say, oh no, that's not entirely true. Okay, like we usually are dealing with numbers, but let's say there's at least something very strange about the whole thing.
No, Paulo, it's worse. What was portrayed in that film is actually worse in real life. I think that those shots are responsible for killing millions of people. And I think that,
dude, they've been actually Bill Gates. I'll pull it back up because we were looking at it because Bill Gates was talking about how there's supposed to be fucking like he slips up. So let me share this real quick because he slips up and supposedly says that they need to decrease the population.
For people in poor countries, it's less than 1 ton. It's an average about 5 tons for everyone on the planet.
I call bullshit even on that.
That will bring that down to 0.
Bullshit.
And constantly going up. It's only various economic changes that have even flattened it at all. So we have to go from rapidly rising to falling and falling all the way to 0.
Bullshit.
This equation has 4 factors, a little bit of multiplication. So you've got a thing on the left, CO2, that you want to get to 0. And that's going to be based on the number of people, the services each person's using on average, the energy on average for each service, and the CO2 being put out per unit of energy. So let's look at each one of these and see how we can get this down to 0. Probably one of these numbers is going to have to get pretty near to 0.
He's trying to focus on the people.
High school algebra. But let's take a look. First, we've got let's take a look. First, we've got population. The world today has 6.8 billion people. That's headed up to about 9 billion. Now, if we do a really great job on new vaccines, healthcare, reproductive health services, we could lower that by perhaps 10 or 15%.
New vaccines.
And wait, go back for a sec. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. See, we can lower that. You know, he was talking about population growth.
And
we can lower that with vaccines. So
and healthcare and reproductive services.
Vaccines, healthcare. We do a really great job on new vaccines, healthcare, reproductive health services. We could lower that by perhaps 10 or 15%.
You hear that? Out of his own mouth.
So the vaccine products, how much research have you? So until the pandemic, brother, I went to fucking UC Berkeley. I was a fucking lefty. Okay, well, maybe not ever was I a lefty, but I was definitely a liberal. Okay, I believed all the shit, all the myths that were told to me from the time I was a child. I believed all of that stuff. I believed that vaccines were real. I believed that they were something that prevented you from getting an illness. I believed that they were safe and effective. That shit is not true. How much research have you guys done into these vaccine products? Like, dude, this shit is mind-blowing. And this guy Gates, have you read into what he's done in Africa with and in India with vaccine?
Okay, so I have another video on this that I just shared, and it's right there on our private chat. I can share, you can share. It's right there talking about what he did in Africa, actually. He talking. Okay, so that's the fact-checking what we were talking before. Is it true majority of U.S. presidents are related to one ancestor, King John of England? Technically true. But for me, is it how much of it? Is it like 90% relation or correlation? Because at the end of the day, we are all related, but how much? I think that's the real question.
Can you scroll down, Paulo? I want to see that guy's face real quick.
Yeah, I was going to say, he's got the...
He looks like, dude, look, if I'm a king, right, and I've got a fucking golden crown and like a scimitar, and someone paints a portrait of me looking like this.
Off with his head.
Exactly.
He's a dead man. He's a dead man.
You made me look like a dill hole. Off with his head.
Oh, man, like one eye is bigger than the other. Like, what's going on here?
You painted me as a retard.
Well, and the Advanced Committee for Immunization Practices, or the ACIP committee, they were somebody asked them what kind of testing they did between, because if you take certain medications, you can't take them with other medications. There's like some issues that where they
like if you're doing coke, you can't do heroin.
Yeah,
it's called contraindicated. Actually, those two kind of, a little bit of column A, a little bit of column B.
You're like, actually, Isn't that called like a speed? Isn't that called like a speedball or something like that?
If you
Speedball.
inject them, yeah.
Yeah, but they
Okay,
said
I'm
that
ready.
they
I can
don't
share that video now.
test it. They don't test vaccines across each other to see if they interact.
There you go. You got to unmute it.
Jeff, it's so much worse than that, though. So the adjuvants, it's from everything, dude. From everything that I've read about these vaccine products in the early '80s, the reason why you got that vaccine legislation that gave these manufacturers immunity. Think about that. They've got immunity.
Yeah.
They can't get sued.
They snuck that in. I actually remember when it was one of those.
But do you know why
they
got that?
They call it a rider, and if I remember right, or they call it pork. So basically, the way that legislators sneak stuff in is they'll attach what's called a rider onto a bill, and so they'll say we're going to cure children's cancer, but attached to that bill is that they're going to do something like this. And so, but then that's why you get like in the news, they'll be like, well, see, the Republicans, they voted against, curing children's cancer. It's like, no, you had a rider on it that, funded, transitioning for children or something like that. And they're like, no, I'm not voting for that. But it gives them the sound bite to be like, they're against curing children's cancer.
So Mike,
speaking of children,
80s, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Just let me play this real quick because it's exactly about what we were talking about. Tell me if you guys can hear it.
No.
Nope. Can't hear it.
Whenever you share your screen, there's a little toggle that you have to hit that says.
Let me do that again.
As well.
Let me do that again.
We'll have to do like or something after the show, so that I can teach it. No, because this stuff is weird to navigate. Like if you've never messed with StreamYard before, that's why I'm like so touchy about it when people start messing.
Okay, let's try that again. You're gonna hear the sound now.
Right.
All right. So here we go.
Reducing population growth. That's this big benefit.
Key thing you can do to reduce population growth is actually improve health.
I would like to reduce the number of people.
Oh God, she fucked up so bad. Jane Goodall.
We invest in clean energy and electric vehicles and reduce population. More of our children can breathe clean air and drink clean water.
Now, the world today has 6.8 billion people. That's headed up to about 9 billion. If we do a really great job on new vaccines, healthcare, reproductive health services, we could lower that.
We're taking things that are, genetically modified organisms and we're injecting them in little kids' arms. We just shoot them right into the vein.
What the?
So in the next 5 to 10 years, for the next pandemic, we'll solve all those problems.
You say the next pandemic, there will be another pandemic.
Absolutely. We don't know when.
History teaches us that the next pandemic is a matter
This
of
fucking guy.
We know what's next. We're going to have another major coronavirus pandemic.
God, this guy.
If we really want to prevent
Dr. Mengele.
What the hell happened to him? Where did he slink off to?
Need more money to plan for the second pandemic.
This is retard.
Oh my God. It's just a nightmare.
It is a nightmare.
So, dude, like, where the hell did Fauci fucking slink off to? Like
Look,
that dude. If I'm not mistaken, it was proven that what was it? It was AIDS.
Dude, it wasn't just AIDS.
Yes, in the 90s.
Yeah, he has a long track record of.
It's not the first time.
Yeah, and they proved that he was part of funding that Wuhan lab where the coronavirus came out of.
Yeah, but that was his job, though. For decades, his job was the bioweapons guy.
And
that was his job.
His wife.
He has a wife. Oh God!
Yeah, no. But like, wait till you hear what she did.
So that guy Fauci, man, AZT during that AIDS pandemic, and look, like this stuff, man.
That was Buyers Club movie was based off of.
Yeah. So this guy Fauci, man, he should be mentioned in the same breath as maybe not Hitler, but definitely Mengele. Definitely Mengele, man. Like this guy Fauci, and who gets preemptively pardoned? Okay. And now he's being, subpoenaed to testify in front of Congress, and he's going to perjure himself, man.
So, Dr. Fauci's wife is Dr. Christine Grady. She is a prominent American nurse and bioethicist who served for over 3 decades at the National Institute of Health, or the NIH.
Yeah, bioethicist.
Including, I probably slaughtered it, sorry. Including as the chief of the Department of Bioethics at the NIH Clinical Center. Her connection to the COVID-19 pandemic response was rooted in her professional expertise. During the pandemic, she was a defining voice, vaccine development and testing. She studied and wrote about the ethical dimensions and challenges of COVID-19 vaccine testing, trial design, and public health acceptability.
It's much too generous, Mike. You're reading this Google propaganda.
No. I wanted to know who she was. It's because it's important, and I get it. If he's a virologist and working in that field for that long, you meet people in your field and develop different types of relationships, and so it's not like it's out of the question that he.
Can you imagine their first date? Can you imagine what that was like?
Oh, dude.
It's not like Mitch McConnell and his wife.
Oh, my God. Yes.
That dry ass conversation that happened during that first fucking meal.
No, I bet you it was exciting. They're at a bar, right? And they're at this bar and they're talking about, so I have these dreams about mass murdering children with vaccines. And she'd be like, oh, well, I have those same dreams too.
Oh, dude. Fucking, do you remember this? Fucking Biden pardoned him. Like, what did he pardon him for if he didn't do anything?
All the way back to 2013.
Yeah.
Preemptively. Right?
Yeah.
So he was preventively.
So
it was before the whole thing.
Usually, like every other fucking instance, when somebody gets pardoned, they had done something and they're
being convicted. And been convicted too. Not just done something, not just charged, but also convicted of the crime.
So wouldn't you guys call it like pre-pardon or preemptively? I would call it preventively. It's preventing anything. Couldn't that be considered like a license to kill?
Well, no.
It's specifically for that.
And look, the president of the United States has that power. The problem is Biden
pre-pardon?
was basically, yes, the president can do that.
The power of the pardon.
Right. So that the power rests in the president to be able to do that. He has the authority to do that. And the problem when it comes to Fauci is a preemptive pardon. And Fauci's big problem here is that it doesn't extend forward. So Fauci, I think, has been subpoenaed. And Rand Paul, God bless him, he's never let up on this. So what was that? Did you hear that?
I heard that.
What was that?
I didn't hear anything.
Oh, dude. What's going on?
We have sound effects now. I like that.
Did you get the vaccine, David? Are you hearing things?
Oh, God, I did get the vaccine, dude. I did. And then you know what I did after the second dose? I got deathly ill for a day. It was like 18 hours where I was the most sick I have ever been in my life. It was like a bunch of weird flu symptoms all merged into one over an 18-hour period. It was horrible. I thought I was going to fucking die. But then I started, because I was working in healthcare at the time, I was donating blood. And the people who were taking my blood were so interested in getting my blood and bone marrow after the vaccine. I think that's what saved me.
Well, dude, I'll tell you something interesting. I noticed that you said that you got you're really sick from the vaccine. I'm sure that I got COVID as well. I did not.
I got it 4 times. I got COVID 4 times.
See, I never got the vaccine. And to each their own. I mean, if you want to get something, and trust me, it's not like I've never had a fucking vaccine before. I was in the military. They fucking hit us with cocktails, and I mean, who knows what's in that? There could be tracking devices and nanobots. I don't know. So I mean, yeah, I've had endless fucking vaccines for stuff you probably never heard of. But I digress.
I don't believe the nanobots thing. I don't think that there were nanobots in the shots.
I'm just guessing. So anyway, it's just you said that you got really sick. I didn't get the vaccine, and I got sick. And I would guess that it was probably
when did you get it? When When was it? That's important because
I
there were a bunch of
honestly, I
variants.
couldn't give you a date, but I was up here at the cabin, went to my usual, time. I went to the store, once a
So
week.
was it 2020 or 2021?
Probably 2021.
Okay.
But like I said, I didn't get the vaccine, but I got super sick for like 24 hours. It was like a bad flu, and that was it. And then I was done. I never got it again. My immune system kicked it. Got some immunities. Hop, hop, hop. All good.
Yeah, man. Yeah. So that whole COVID thing, I will never forgive them, and I will never forget what they did to us during COVID. I will never forget or forgive that. And those people who are responsible need to be prosecuted for what they did. And that guy Fauci, man, he needs to be prosecuted. And the fact that he's not, of course they can. They can drag him in front of Congress. They can make him testify. And when he perjures himself, they can prosecute him for perjury. And he should spend.
He already did. They called, like, before he got pardoned. They called him up.
That was covered by the pardon, though. I think
that's what I'm saying. Yeah. Anyway.
Well, so yeah, man.
So wispy. Now, dude, I got I got the anthrax shot. I got smallpox. I got malaria. You name it.
The anthrax vaccine has anthrax in it.
Oh, most vaccines do. It is just a weakened form so that your body, basically it weakens it so your body can attack it, kill it, and then it builds up antibodies. And the antibodies is what's
that's the idea anyway.
No, but that's why they came up with vaccines. And and not all back in the 50s, my godmother, she ended up getting polio from the polio vaccine. So that batch wasn't weakened.
That's so crazy. That's what I'm saying. If somebody say, "Hey, I'm going to inject something," oh, what's in it? Oh, just like a tiny little. It's a dose that is like negligible. Of what? Of what? Tell me. Oh, anthrax. Oh.
Her dad was in the Navy in Hawaii, and all the kids back in the day got the polio vaccine, and so she got it. It was a hot dose. And she spent the rest of her life with, paralyzed from the waist down. She used to be on crutches and was in a wheelchair. But yeah, I'll tell you though, you didn't mess with that lady. She was freaking hard. In her forearms, she had massive arms. I mean, they were basically her legs. She wheeled herself around, and then she had the crutches with the leg braces, and so her arms were her legs. And if she got a hold of you, she could rip a chunk. She was like a coal miner. She could open a closed beer can. She could.
That's pretty badass.
If she grabbed a hold of you, it hurt bad. It was like a vice grip on your fucking skin. And so, yeah, we used to hide in the basement because there were stairs, and she couldn't come down on the wheelchair because me and my cousins, the one I told you about, David and Jeff, that has the boat down in Antigua, it was his mom, and so she raised us. But we used to hide in the basement and play Street Fighter on Nintendo with the Mormon missionaries. Her husband, my cousin's dad, whenever he was hiding from her, he'd come down there too, and we'd all play video games and hide from her.
Oh, Street Fighter, man! What was that? Sega Genesis?
No. That was it was on
Nintendo.
Nintendo, yeah. And
fucking A, man.
Baraka or that was from Brazil or Guile, because he had the Sonic kick where he do the backflip and fuck shit up.
Remember Mortal Kombat, dude? Oh, I love that shit.
Yeah.
Jeff, did you take the vaccine?
No, and I actually have.
Why not?
My aunt and uncle are in their 70s, and they did not want me to be around them because they didn't feel safe. Because I wouldn't.
You said your whole family did that, right?
Oh yeah, pretty much all my family. And I got into health and wellness really deep in the early 2010s and started learning more about vaccines and
crystals,
I just
chakra,
all the weird stuff. I just put a crystal in my butt and it was
hey, it's for science. It's for science.
Sort of a scientist myself. So once COVID hit, man, I was like, there's something smells. Something doesn't feel right. And the way they were forcing people to get the vaccine, I was like, I don't care if I lose my job. You know, I'm not going to take this shit because we don't know the long-term consequences. And I'm not going to sacrifice that for a job that I'm not even going to be at long-term. And I had friends who were forced into getting it or they would lose their job. And it was funny because
I was forced into taking it. Otherwise, I would not be a resident in the US. I was not born in the US. I am Brazilian. So most people don't know that. But if you do not have your COVID vaccine, you're not allowed to be a legal immigrant or have a green card or citizenship, nothing.
Yeah, but
you must get the COVID shot
that were imported in. They didn't have fucking shots, and they were given free health care, free housing, free food, free transportation, free everything. It was just, just the people who live in this fucking tax slavery matrix that we call the United States now. Our country is the best country on earth. The United States of America is the best country on earth. I'm an American patriot. I think it's the best country on earth, bro. And the problem is,
I love my country, but
me too.
The politicians and the government corrupt to the core.
Do you guys remember that George Floyd and the BLM protests, they were at the time when people are supposed to be inside at home, not go out. So if you look, if BLM was fine, but you needed to, if you look at the facts of what they say versus what they do,
well, it was mostly peaceful, though. It was mostly peaceful.
Right, mostly peaceful. Just how many 1,500 buildings destroyed or something like that? Cities across the country just burning on fire. Mostly peaceful though.
They took over like freaking a couple of city blocks in Seattle and called it Chad, and like basically held it as a sovereign nation for like what was it, like 2 months or 3 months?
Dude, I think that they probably still do hold it. There's a communist mayor in Seattle now, and that's a huge problem, man. So we are facing this existential threat that was never eliminated in the 1950s. We're seeing this resurgence of straight up communism now.
The Pinkos.
Straight up, dude. Yeah. We've got communists in positions of power now, in the halls of Congress, running large cities. We've got people who are judges who became citizens fucking last year, like who have dual citizenship, who weren't born here. Like, dude, we've got a massive problem on our hands. When I take a look at all the Mamdanis that are popping up all around the country, there's a lot of them. Mamdani is just one of the most well-known of them. This is an existential threat. These people want to kill us. And they come with a big smile talking about free shit. These people are an existential threat to America.
Do you guys happen to know about the Mamdani thing in New York and the real estate crisis? Because apparently
taking the property from landlords that are not upkeeping the property, or bad landlords. They're gonna take the properties from these bad landlords and redistribute to NGOs.
What do they consider bad?
Or not just NGOs, but they could give it to the residents. He said that.
These ideas are retarded. So if you're a landlord and you own a building and you're responsible for upkeep, and then the city freezes the rent, so you can know, that doesn't mean that all of a sudden your expenses as a landlord get frozen. They don't. Mm-hmm. So when you can't afford to fix the building any longer, the city is going to step in and steal it from you.
Dude, I sold all of my rental properties. Like I had a couple rental properties in my main house, and I sold it all. As soon as I started seeing like this trend going where they were freezing rent, because like you said, it's like it freezes the tenant's rent, but it doesn't seize the the landlord's freaking
in California and Manhattan.
Upkeep, you still got to pay for insurance, whatever. Mm-hmm. There's a bunch of freaking expenses that go into being a freaking landlord, and a lot of risk. And so you got to put up collateral that that might be your house, that might be other assets, whatever.
Mike,
And
wasn't it just in California and Manhattan, or this price control, this rent freeze was in different states?
Look, this has been tried over and over and over again. You would think that people would do this little thing called reading books, like read about what's happened in the past so you can not repeat the mistakes of the past. But people don't do that because it feels good. It's like, oh, I want my rent frozen. I don't want to have to pay more. That feels good.
Student loans, the same thing during COVID. They paused the student loans. It's like, you didn't have to make any payments, but the interest kept, fucking accruing. And so people, I see this social media posts all the time where they're like, how is it that I had a $70,000 loan and now I owe $90,000? It's like, because you weren't making payments for like 2-3 years and it was still accruing interest, dumbass.
And that's another big scam because so these institutions of higher learning, I went to several of them. I've got $70,000 in student loans, and at least I studied neuroscience and fucking like it helped me get a job that I had for 2 years. That's the only job I've ever had in my life. I've only ever started businesses, but dude, like the student loan scam, all it did was increase tuition rates.
Yeah.
That's all it did. Because
they saw the blank check the government was going to write.
Exactly.
And they were like, why don't we just raise tuition? Uncle Sam will pay for it. And why do you
gender studies
shit like that have like massive endowments?
Bullshit.
Yeah, Jeff.
Who
the fuck is studying gender studies? Like exactly what type of degree what type of job do you think that degree is going to be able to get?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And if we, the taxpayer, are giving a loan to a kid that's going to go to college, it should be treated like an investment. If my tax dollars are going to invest in somebody's education, they better be a doctor, a fucking scientist. They better be something that's going to benefit me and society as a whole. If they want to learn how to, if they want to get a doctorate in playing a fucking trombone, they can figure that out on their own.
Or the trades, electrician, plumber,
dude.
like.
Well, I use
that.
Dude, the trades, you'll make more money and have no debt. Actually, most companies watch Dirty Jobs. Mike Rowe, freaking dude's awesome. But they'll actually most of the trades, you can go get a job someplace as like an electrician or a plumber or a welder. Most of them will send you through school and pay for it as long as you work for them for like a year or two.
Yeah. One of my buddies, he's been working as an electrician for 4 or 5 years, and he's making over $200K.
That's the way,
dude. I'm telling you, that's like all the people I know that are doing really well right now. They work in the trades.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah. And Mike Rowe was saying that we need like 400,000 more electricians
because they're all retiring. They're all old school dudes. I mean, I was an electrician.
It's a badass profession, man. That is a badass profession. I've never liked electricity because I don't like getting zapped.
It just makes you vibrate for a second.
Oh, dude, I was. I heard on X that there are some really experienced electricians who they will be able to tell you the voltage of a panel or whatever just by touching it based on how badly they get zapped.
I haven't been shocked that much. The worst jolt I ever got was on a 60K generator. And it was running. I was my first job in the military. I was a generator mechanic. And so I'm working on it. And I did a stupid thing. The circuit was closed. And I went to put a safety wire onto one of the load terminals. And it arced across two of them. And the last thing I remember was just thinking, oh, shit. And I woke up, I don't know how long later. It could have been 15 minutes. It could have been 2 hours. I was across the bay. So I was it threw me 10 feet. And it had atomized because I couldn't find the clip. It had atomized in my hands. My fingers were all burned. And like I said, I don't know how long I was knocked out. But
the shock itself, you don't remember.
No. But I was just tired as shit. I went and curled up in a corner and fell asleep for 4 hours. It was like a giant stun gun. But No, electricity. It's as long as you respect it, it's not bad. I mean, you just got to know what you're messing with, and if it's in your realm of expertise, because there's some stuff that will straight kill you.
So I was looking into the rent control part because I was really not aware of it. I thought it was only in California and New York, but apparently not. Yeah, I'm sharing there on Gemini thing. It's very simple. So it is in Oregon, California, New York, New Jersey, Maryland, Minnesota, Maine,
I'm
Washington
noticing a
D.C.
trend here.
What do these places all have in common?
I'm noticing a
blue.
trend here.
Right. Democrat governance.
They're blue.
Yep.
Communist governance.
Deep blue.
Yeah,
Well,
communist.
And who votes blue?
Retards.
Not entirely, but predominantly.
Retards vote blue.
White women.
No, white women. Yeah. Damn, white women. So no,
Seriously, though.
What's that?
Why are all these white women voting for this shit? You know why? Because the feels. It feely. It feels.
That was Mom
good.
Donnie's biggest voter base was
demographic, like the demographic that voted for him.
White women. Yeah.
I don't know, man. I'm kind of leaning towards thinking that it's probably a lot of voter fraud. Like the part of the reason why these people get elected, number one. But number two, in New York, I don't think, look, if you're the child of immigrants and you have citizenship and you can vote, are you an American? I don't know that you are, man. I don't know that you fucking are. If you're the child of immigrants and you're brought up to not be an American, and yet you're able to vote, and you vote in someone like Mom Donnie, like, bro, I don't think that that's an American.
But the whole thing seems to be a scam for me. That's why I have such distrust for governments in general. Because to be a citizen, okay, so who is a citizen? A voting population. Who defines all that? And we see that the whole idea is corrupt. In California, there was a German guy that he was during his vacation in California, he said, you know what? I'm just visiting. I am on a tourist visa, but I'm going to vote. And he did vote. And he recorded himself voting in California. So
he broke the law, recording in the polling areas.
That's what I'm talking about.
Oh, man. Yeah, dude.
See? Another criminal immigrant.
Yeah, they got to go, man. They got to go. They really do.
Recording in a polling.
They don't want to pass the SAVE Act because it's racist, and people can't in certain rural areas can't go to the DMV and get ID. It's like you have to have ID for every fucking thing. What do you mean? So this one thing? It's just gonna keep.
I don't know. I think that some of those videos that I've seen where they it has like they're going into colleges and stuff, and of course all the white kids that are going to college, they're like, is it racist to ask for ID to vote? And they're like, oh, absolutely. How hard it is to get an ID and stuff like that. And they go through the hood and they're asking all the black people. They're like, oh, do you have an ID? And they're like, of course I got an ID. It's like how the hell. You got to have an ID for everything. You got to have an ID to buy alcohol, to buy tobacco, to drive, to go into a rated R movie, whatever. It's you got to have an ID for all kinds of
stuff. Buy a beer.
Well, it's like it's impossible. It's kind of racist to say that a black person can't figure out how to get an ID.
Dude, I am so done with this word racist. Like I am so done with that shit. Like.
Anytime anybody says that or any of the other words, I'm just like, basically, you just lost the argument. You have no logical. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
According to Kathy Hochul in New York, she said black people don't know how to use a computer.
Yeah,
she literally said that. It's like, what do you mean?
But that's not racist. If you say that black people cannot use you are allowed to say that.
It's just, to me, it's ridiculous. If you live in America, you should have to work. And if you want to come to America, I am all about immigration. My grandparents on my dad's side, both immigrants. I love it. Some of the best fucking quality people I've ever met are
legal immigrants who wanted to integrate into American society.
Exactly. And I'm not saying there isn't good people that happen to be illegal. They just don't have the means and stuff like that. Because our immigration system is fucked. My neighbor that owns the Thai restaurant in town, they've been trying to get her son here. They've been married for like 12, 13 years. And they've been trying to get her son here for like 13 fucking years. He was an adult, but they were trying to get him here. And it cost them like $30,000, $40,000 and 13 fucking years. It's like our immigration system is screwed. But so I know there needs to be reform. But yes, you need to come here legally.
Yeah, you do. And the people who are here illegally need to go.
Yeah.
Period. Full stop. And, like for anyone who says that what President Trump is doing is wrong or that ICE is the Gestapo, oh, dude, we are so blessed to have ICE. If only they could hire 1 million more ICE agents to speed up the process and deport a couple million people per month. Like, I wish they were able to do that.
Zoolander, the files are in the computer. You know what, dude? I'm gonna watch that tonight. I'm gonna watch Zoolander tonight.
Oh man.
But that's the thing with immigration. It's kind of hard. So what about those people in Europe? They go there, they get health care, and say, yeah, you got a stamp and you're legal now. You're good to go. But the local people, they don't agree with that. My point is, it's very corrupt, the whole system, even who is legal and who isn't. I don't think it's enough to say, yeah, you're legal. Say, yeah, maybe. There's a bunch of legal people causing more trouble than a Mexican roofer, for example, that is here illegally.
Well, yeah, but by importing illegal migrants and creating a black market for labor, you disenfranchise American citizens.
That's not the problem.
Yeah, you disenfranchise American citizens who would perform that work legally. The people who are required to pay taxes, like you disenfranchise them by having all of this illegal black market labor. It's just a horrible, horrible thing for citizens.
That's one thing that Trump kind of fucked up with, because one of his hotel buddies was saying that it was hurting his business the way they were going after illegals, and Trump kind of backed off a little bit. And you just because your friend's business is going to be hurting, you gotta put Americans first, man. Don't just say, oh well, my buddy's going to lose a lot of workers because they're illegal, so we're going to back off a little bit. It's like, no, you can't,
because it's a black market.
So Joseph in the chat, you see what he posted in there about, so Mike, what do you think about this? So ICE agents are federal immigration agents, correct?
Yeah.
Does that make them law enforcement? I think it probably does.
Anybody that enforces the law is law enforcement. I mean, FBI is law enforcement. Freaking local police, state police. Anybody in law enforcement is law enforcement.
Yeah. So Joseph's question was: should ICE agents be held accountable as U.S. citizens when they do the wrong thing? Of course, if they break the law, they should be held accountable. Period.
You know what? And I'm all for body cams, but from personal experience, you need to be. It's really easy to armchair quarterback somebody after the fact when you have a video and stuff like that. But when you're boots on the ground doing some shit, and you see something, you think you see something shady going on, where somebody's pulling something or going for something, or they're like the video I saw recently where this guy is on top of this poor girl and has this sickle and is about to hit her with it, and the police officer just unloads a whole mag into it, and and reloads, and you can hear him on his radio, and it's all being recorded by a body cam, and you can hear in his voice. I mean, hats off to him how freaking concise and how clear he was in that headspace. But I've been there, done that. So judging somebody after the fact, there needs to be, and I don't know how to mitigate that, but there needs to be some sort of understanding that when you're in a dark alley and you.
Oh, he froze.
He froze.
Damn.
Froze there for a second.
When you're in a dark alley, what?
Oh, man. I was on
a
a
dark
roll.
alley.
Never mind. I was on a roll.
Oh, damn,
Mike,
Starling.
let me share this real quick. Let me share this real quick on the screen share, if you don't mind. So speaking of immigration, do you remember it? I just checked it. Trump deported. So there were Venezuelan gang members in the US. And of course, they were not only here illegally, the crime of being here illegally, they were committing crimes and apparently like killing people and doing a bunch of bad things. So they were from Venezuela. They were in America and they got caught and they were deported to Venezuela. No, to a whole different country, to El Salvador. So I found this to be very interesting that they're deporting people to entirely different countries.
Yeah, because once they're in El Salvador, they're going to get sent to CCOT. Great. Good.
What's that?
CCOT is that giant prison that they built in El Salvador for these gang members.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, great. Good. Just deporting these guys. No. If you're part of a gang like that, do you guys know what you got to do to get into that shit? You've got to fucking murder and rape to get into that shit, dude. So like
just to start.
Yeah, it's called getting jumped in. Fucking
it's the admission fee.
Like, bro, if you're in one of those organizations, like you're lucky that you're going to a place like CCOT. You're lucky that you're not getting strung up, man. Yeah. So yeah.
No, I don't feel bad for him.
Nope, not at all.
And apparently in El Salvador, they were able to make it a much safer place exactly because of this prison.
Yeah, well, it turns out that if you round up all the gang members committing all the murder and rape, that all of a sudden things get safer. Who would have thunk it?
Turns out that if you actually put criminals in jail, apparently it works, right?
Yeah, the comedian Ari Shaffir was traveling to a bunch of countries in South America last year, and he even talked about in El Salvador how a lot of the people were happy. What was his name? Bukele?
Well, dude, they cleaned up the country.
Yeah.
Bitcoiner.
How before people were playing soccer with fetuses that they cut out of women. Literally playing soccer with dead fetuses.
Well,
yeah.
Not a happy day.
You guys want me to share something on a lighter note?
Yeah, let's get a lighter note.
All right. Let's check this out. So
fetus to farm.
All right, what is it doing here? There we go. All right. So me and my brother and my nephew, we got this property, and so we're basically building out like a man camp where you can go and do like man shit. You can freaking shoot guns and ride 4-wheelers and drink scotch or whiskey and smoke cigars and basically just making a man camp. But anyway, this is going to be the armory. So basically, I'm going to finish this out and put a big sign up above it that says armory. But this is where you'll go and where you check out airsoft rifles. So basically like ARs. They look like ARs, but they're basically like pellet guns. And they hurt when you get hit by them and stuff like that. But they're not lethal, obviously. And what we're going to do is this is on the property too. So it's this 3-story house. And it's like just not finished. It's been sitting there for years and kind of too far gone to like renovate. So we're just going to turn it into a shoot house. So basically like close quarters combat. And let's see, here's the inside of it, but it's just a bunch of rooms. And so we'll just put walls up and just have it to where, you can go through and, like have enemy combatants in there doing like hostage scenarios and, you can pick, whatever scenario you want. And then, and I have a bunch of military buddies that were in, we're all, we were all in special ops units and all that kind of stuff. Basically have them come up and like teach people tactics, and they can fight against each other. So like bachelor parties or, whatever, people can just come up and do man shit, So anyway,
it's going to be fucking awesome, dude.
Yeah. So yeah, it's just gonna be kind of cool. So yeah, we have a bunch of kayaks and stuff like that, and so there's places you can go cliff diving, like kayak down out to the waterfalls and stuff like that. And then you can kayak down the river, and there's these cliffs you can jump, climb up and jump off like 50, 60-foot cliffs if you want. And so it's just a bunch of cool shit that you can do.
When did you start working on that?
I was over there today, so I've started getting quotes. We close tomorrow, but we started getting quotes. So I tomorrow I have to meet with the bridge guy and the well driller. I already met with the septic guy, and we got the perk test done for the septic to make sure that we can get a permit. And the electrician, he's going to come out after I get the bridge in, because he has to install the power on the bridge, because that's the only way to get the power to the property, because you don't want to do overhead lines because trees fall on them all the time and take people's power out. That's why I lose power up here all the time. So you put as much as possible, you bury it and not put it up in the air. But yeah, no, I was over there and I started clearing, like clearing up branches and dead stuff, building burn piles so I can start cleaning it up. There's a big, beautiful creek. I should have pulled up some of those pictures.
Yeah.
But there's like this big, beautiful creek that runs through it, and we own both sides of the creek, so we're gonna do cold plunges and saunas, and just like I said, just make it a chill place where my nephew and my brother both do combative BJJ, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and my nephew is a state wrestler. Like he won a bunch of championships. Scrappy little dude. And so he's going to teach combatives. If people want to learn like knife stuff, I'll teach them like knife combatives. And then like I said, we'll have the shoot house and things like that, and all kinds of other activities. If they want to go hiking or camping or hunting or fishing, there's fly fishing on the Columbia River. That's like 10 minutes down the road, so it's like super fucking close. You can go get like sturgeon and salmon. The sturgeon are those big prehistoric looking fish that you have to use a deep sea
sovereign
fishing.
Soil.
What's that?
Yeah, he's gonna be
sovereign
making content.
soil.
Yeah,
it's gonna be. Awesome,
you got food, you got fun, you got it's a very good place to be. It seems.
Actually, you know what? That's not a bad idea. Call the company Sovereign Soil.
yeah. Like it is the very definition of what you just described.
All right, permission. I need verbal permission to use that, Paulo. I mean, it's the name of the show, of one of our shows, but the fact that you gave me the idea, I need verbal confirmation I can use that.
Yeah, Sovereign Soil. I think that's a great name.
All right.
It's a good name.
I think it's awesome, dude.
Yeah, no, but it's going to be fun. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's honestly the coolest thing about it is I get to do something with my nephew and my brother. It's like that's the cool thing. It's freaking. My nephew's moving up here. He's going to live with me. And me and him are going to do all the labor together. So I'm going to get to know him. Freaking. My brother.
Bonding, man.
No, but he's a cool kid. I shouldn't say kid. He's a man, young man. But just super chill dude, and just looking forward to like getting all the work knocked out because he's going to learn a ton. Basically, this is going to be his college. So I'm going to teach him construction. I'm going to teach him about real estate. I'm going to teach him about lumber because there's a lot of investing up here where you can buy land and then you take the timber, responsibly. You don't clear cut it. You go through and you thin it out, and it helps to wildfire not spread as well. It's fire mitigation. But you can do that. You replant, and then just like every 20, 30 years, you harvest the lumber, and you own 20, 30, 50 acres or whatever, and you just make money off of it every once in a while. So you can buy a property for like $100,000, harvest like $30,000 or $40,000 of lumber off of it, and it only cost you $60,000. And you have a little bit of money for seed money to buy another property.
Better than rent. We were talking about rent control.
Well, not being a landlord. that's kind of what I want to do up here is I just want to buy land up here, responsibly harvest, timber, maybe throw a couple of Airbnbs on it, and make it residual.
Right. And then you have control over whatever goes on there.
Put this out on the airwaves. Now somebody's gonna steal my motherfucking idea. You don't know where I'm at though, so ha.
Yeah.
Is it true that airsoft gun that you shared in this, it's stronger? It's like hard. It can hit you harder than a 22 long rifle.
No.
Okay.
It stings. It stings, but it's not.
Okay.
If it hit you like a 22, you can kill somebody with a 22.
Yeah. Okay.
Like easily. Like if you're a good shot, you can kill somebody easily with a 22. A lot of people think you need a 45 or a 308 or you need some kind of larger caliber. 22 does that's all a 5.56 like for an AR-15 that 223 or 5.56. Both of those are basically the same weight, the same size as a 22 round. They just have more powder behind them, so there's more punch power. And the reason they went with a smaller projectile is whenever it hits matter, it starts to tumble. And so when it starts to tumble, it can fly further. And then when it starts to tumble, it does more damage. It does more soft tissue damage and vascular damage. And you want as much trauma as possible when you're trying to take somebody down in combat. So that's why they picked that combination.
Let me ask you guys this. So Mike had a bad experience being like renting. You had some units.
I got out of.
Yeah, so not good. It's in the past. Yeah. David and Jeff, would you consider having like an apartment complex or a house that you would not live in, but rent it out? Would you consider doing that these days?
I don't know, Jeff. I think that if it was up to me, I'd own some Bitcoin instead, rather than having the property. I kind of think of Bitcoin as property.
I thought about it for a while. I mean, at least up until a few years ago, and especially here in California, no way. But I just think that there's a lot better ways that have less stress. With investing my money than to manage and deal with that headache of tenants and fixing stuff and just all the shit that comes with it.
It was
the refrigerator goes out. You have a problem in the roof or an electrical problem or
one thing I'll advise anybody out there that does do it, do not hire a property management company. They are a ripoff.
They're supposed to help.
Well, and if you have a good one, you have a good one, but I did not have good experiences. So I tried to use a property manager when I moved, up here to build my cabin. And I had a rental house in downtown Salt Lake City. And it was close to a community college. And when I moved out, I managed it, and I found a really, really cool couple, no kids. They had some pets, but they were like neat freaks. They were perfect. I mean, they didn't break anything. It was, just perfect tenants. And then I turned it over to a property manager. And the only thing I told her, I do not want you to rent to any college students. And I don't know if that's legal, but, I just don't want college kids.
It's your property. You should be allowed to choose.
Well, I built it out at the time. I thought that's where I was going to retire. So I built it out. Like I gutted the place. It was built like in 1916. And so it was like a fucking craftsman style. And so I went through and beautiful place, all kinds of cool woodwork. And I did it like all high end finishes, floors, countertops, solid cherry cabinets, the whole shebang. I had like this giant walk-in shower that had like 2 shower heads, and I decked it out. And so she rented it to like 5 college students, and they trashed it. I mean, the plumbing was wrecked. I had to redo all the plumbing. I mean, it was just a mess. And so
that year, you didn't make a profit on it.
Oh no! That cost me to like fix all the damage just so I could sell the thing. Because that's what I ended up doing. It was like $20,000. It was like $20,000. So it was probably about a year and a half, 2 years worth of rent.
Fuck.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't see any good arguments, any good points that say, yeah, I should own a rental property these days with rent controls and all these things. Like not even big maintenance, you needed to change all the plumbing, and that's a big cost.
Well, and then there's the legal cost, because college students usually don't have the credit to pass a credit check to rent a place. So it's usually the parents that co-sign for them, and it costs legal fees to go after the parents to be like, all right, $20,000 bill, who's paying, and that's basically what you're doing in a nutshell. I mean, there's a lot of legalities and stuff, but that's basically what you're doing is you're going to the co-signers, the parents, and saying who's going to pony up and make me whole, who's going to and if nobody steps up, then it's like, okay, now I got to go get lawyers, and it's this legal battle, and I may get part of it back, I may get all of it. You don't know. So it's not worth it. For me, the headache, it just was not
Let's
worth
say
it.
I'm a single guy and I rent and I'm in that place and I rent and say, no, I'm just a single guy. And then like in the same year, I get married, I have kids, like the mother-in-law moves in. Can you say, hey, you're not allowed to do that. I need you to get out? Because that can happen. That probably happens.
A lot of those laws like started changing to where it might take 6 months to a year. Like they could stop paying rent. They can be ripping the copper out of the walls to go and recycle for meth money, and you can't do shit for like
Look
6
at
months
that.
to a
Yeah.
year. If you try to like physically remove them or pay somebody to physically remove them, then you will be criminally charged. And if and law enforcement won't come and do it without a court order, and the court won't order it because of the fact that they don't basically don't enforce it. That's how long it takes.
That's crazy because that's not really your property. I mean, it is technically, but you don't have much power over it.
Not really.
I had a mortgage that I had to pay, because they paused the rents and stuff like that. Like I said, I didn't get affected by that, but I understand it. If they paused the rents, landlords, they still got to pay the banks. They still got to pay the mortgage. They still got to pay the insurance. They still got to repair the stuff. All that kept going.
And that should happen often. Like, I'm a single guy. Okay, so I'm renting your house, your apartment. But fast forward 3-4 months, I have 4 brothers, 2 girlfriends, 4 dogs, 2 babies, the mother-in-law, and you have like a bunch of people there, and there's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah, that's not good, man. So you got to ask yourself, do you really own it? Do you own it?
Dude, do I own this? I do not have a mortgage. I own the entire property. The cabin I paid cash for and built with my own 2 hands. I don't owe a cent on my entire property. Yet, I have to pay the federal government a couple $1,000s, every year. Thank you, sir. I basically pay my tribute so that they allow me to keep my own property. Because if I don't pay that, they'll come on my property with guns, remove me from it, auction it off, and give me what's left.
Yeah, that's not ownership.
Yes.
Do I own it?
No. The state does.
Technically, very technically. I'm getting to the conclusion that the only things that you can really own for a fact
Bitcoin.
on a practical level, on physical gold, Bitcoin, guns, ammo, and probably cash. Like cash.
Right.
Physical gold and silver.
Gold and
Yeah.
silver. It's like gold and silver and ammo is my thing. Like crypto is like a hobby. Gold, silver, and ammo. That's my core.
But Bitcoin's never been censored. Until Bitcoin is censored, like say, no, you cannot go through with that transaction. Then I will start having questions.
There's just something ingrained in humans, and maybe just because I'm old, tactile feel. being able to
Yeah.
hold something in your hands. There's a value there. That's a variable that no matter
Yeah.
what happens, you can go grab a thing and you can give it to another person, and there's exactly,
Yeah.
that looks
The
like
silver
a
bar.
5-ounce bar.
The
Yeah,
10.
5 to 10. Okay, yeah. I
Then
was gonna say that definitely wasn't a 1 ounce. But yeah, no, it's dude, I love them. The Scottsdale Mint. We're not sponsored; they're not paying me. But Scottsdale Mint, 1 kilo stackers are the ones that I like.
devil's advocate question. Don't you think you really own Bitcoin? Like you have Bitcoin in your cold wallet, and I think that's real ownership.
I think so too.
You're right. It's just like I said. Me personally, it's if you have no power, if you don't, there's no satellites, whatever, something terrible happens. I just love the idea that I can go
Very
grab
hard to barter with it.
a
Very hard
golden-
to barter.
and I know that's it's not really that hard to barter. A grader, with gold.
Oh no, I'm talking about Bitcoin during an apocalypse.
No, yeah. If things got really bad, dude, I can grab ammo, silver, or gold. I can go to any one of my neighbors and be like, "Hey, could I give you this amount, or how much would you need to bring your tractor over and dig me a hole?"
Did you really pay for services where you live with ammo?
Exactly. People have chickens around.
Did you really do that?
Yeah. No, yeah, dude.
Oh my God.
For a box of ammo, I can go trade it for a couple dozen eggs. It's
That's
like,
cool. Yeah.
whatever. So no, there's something there. It's like I get Bitcoin and I own some Bitcoin. I own crypto, obviously, but it's for a very different reason.
But have you bartered ammo for real?
Yeah, no,
already?
absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. That's really cool. That's really cool.
You can barter with anything out here. An old chainsaw. If somebody's like, "Hey, that's a nice."
Okay,
chainsaw.
well, that's really cool. Yeah, I see it.
No, it's hey, I need somebody to come over and do some electrical work, and I don't know how to do it. It's like, well, that's a nice chainsaw you got there.
That's really cool. Yeah.
No, it's like that's the country way of saying, you need some electrical done. It's going to cost you that.
That's a real economy, isn't it? I think that's like, what does it say? I remember you guys on the Node went through a thing like that, like coincidence of wants. You want the same, I want one thing, and you want the other thing. Say, okay, you want this box of ammo.
Right. Double coincidence of wants. Yep.
Yeah.
It's
a double coincidence of wants. Exactly.
University is that?
It is. It's in the DeFi high school. Yeah, we went through that, Mike. Yeah.
Yeah. No, it really is a great course. I mean, it's free, so I mean, fucking go through it at your leisure. But go to the Node.pro, center top of the screen. Go there. We give away. We're just a bunch of freaking idiots that don't know how to run a business. You're giving stuff away.
Oh man, especially when I see fucking Discover Crypto charging for the shit that's half as good.
It's not just them; it's everybody.
I know. Yeah,
it's everybody, and I get it. I mean, they're actual businesses. They got brick and mortar. They got employees. Dude, I get it. Trust me. I've run businesses before, but I live in a cabin. I'm retired. I don't have any overhead. David, he freaking is self-employed.
I live on a beach.
Yeah, he lives on a beach and is self-employed. He's like me. From the time his head leaves the pillow to the time it hits the pillow, the only thing he does is what he wants to do. For a man, that's the dream.
Do you guys don't believe in intellectual property?
Of course I do.
Of course.
Of course I do.
Of course.
I think that's extremely important.
That's why I asked you just recently that, sovereign soil, can I use it? I need a verbal confirmation.
Oh, okay.
That's intellectual
property. Because I like the idea that I agree. I don't know any other resource to learn crypto and DeFi better than DeFi University. I don't know. If there is out there, maybe one day I'll find it, and I'm very curious and I look around a lot. I don't know it. But I think David mentioned something like one day say, I don't believe in charging for that kind of you package information, you can charge it for your time. And I think there's way too much emphasis on intellectual property, and the market is up to decide, but not very good quality for the most part, you know?
Well, the thing is I mean, you might be able to find a better course. Who knows? But the
I don't
thing
think
is,
they exist.
but is it going to be free?
No.
That's the thing is you have nothing to lose. We built it out. It tests and quizzes. You can it has the podcast where you can play it to where it's just the audio. You can listen to it when you're going to bed if you have trouble sleeping. Whatever. It's like you can you can use it. Video if you're a visual learner, and to go through all of it. What would you say, David? Like 15 minutes?
So I think that if you spent 3 months and you spent
no,
maybe
just like a deep dive or like a module. Like
yeah. So
doing a module in
lesson,
DeFi University or watching one of the deep dives.
Yeah,
like
each
15 minutes.
Each one of the lessons, maybe 15, 20 minutes or so.
Yeah. So
yeah,
I mean, are you willing to invest 20 minutes a day? And it not even. I mean, you're investing your time. There's no money. Like I said, we don't charge for it. Are you willing to invest 15 to 20 minutes of your day to learn a new skill that may or may not make you money, but you're going to learn something, and you might learn that crypto is not for you, and that's fine. But you may learn that, oh shit, this might be an opportunity for me, me and my family, to change our stars a little bit. Definitely don't. I wouldn't advise full porting into it, but $100 here, $10 there. Build a little portfolio, figure it out. That's how I started. But without an education, you're going to make a lot of costly mistakes. I made them.
Yeah.
David made them. Jeff made them. We've all made them. I've sent thousands of dollars into the void. That and if you learn about it, you'll know what I'm talking about. I sent it to basically a burn address. I had a bunch of Matic at the time, which is the POL token now. I sent a couple $1,000s to the wrong address, and it was the Genesis address, I guess, is what they call it, and it basically burns it. And so I was copying and pasting. I didn't do a test transaction. Send $2 or $3 first, make sure it gets there, and then repeat the transaction with the large amount. And I didn't do that, and it bit me. So that's the kind of stuff that we teach you in DeFi University.
Yeah, man, it's about avoiding making costly mistakes.
Yeah.
And, I actually, today, so from the time that I wake up, Mike, until the time that I go to sleep, I do exactly what it is that I feel driven to do. And dude, I'm a fucking workaholic, man. Like,
I know.
So,
I know, I get the messages.
Yeah.
I like
a workaholic.
it. I like it.
I'm obsessed with turning the Node.pro into a cash flowing business that we can use to travel the world and teach everyone crypto or whatever. And hey, man, look, if you're looking to build a crypto and DeFi skill set, I just finished, making some pretty significant upgrades to the coaching program today at the Node.pro. So, I mean, look, if you want to avoid making those costly mistakes, you want to avoid paying market tuition, hop on into the Node.pro, click on coaching, schedule 30 minutes on my calendar. I'd love to talk to you, see if there's something that I can do to help you. If not, I'm not going to charge you. Like, if I can't do something to provide value for you, then I'm not going to accept any money from you. So, it's just like, how bad do you want it?
Well, and getting the source too. We don't censor, we don't deplatform. We want a place where anybody can go and speak freely, unlike our tech overlords. So this is cool as fuck. Jeff? What do you guys think about this this community source room? Huh? What do you think about this thing? Oh, it's great. Yeah,
I like how it's coming along.
I've been wanting that since we started. I was like, yeah, fuck this Discord, man. We can.
Well, that's the thing is, dude, when we got like blocked from our own freaking server for like 24 hours for giving shit to the people that raided our server. Yeah, we use some spicy language, but I mean, come on, it doesn't mean that that's what we actually think, or it's just we're trying to get a rise. Like they came in, they started insulting people and doing crazy stuff, and so we had some fun with them. They were a ball of yarn that jumped into a room full of cats, and we started batting them around.
I had a great time until all of a sudden
my ass off. I was giving you shit. I was giving them shit. They were giving me shit.
It was great, but they were pieces of shit, and got reported. So decided, hey, you know what? I'm done with Discord, and I deleted Discord. And so now I just decided, hey, I'm going to build it for us so that we own it.
Yeah.
And that's what I did over the last couple of weeks.
David, I got to ask you the real question here. What does it take for you to ban someone from the source?
Well, no. I definitely would. If someone,
what does it take?
Actually, I take that back because I did put somebody in timeout. But I didn't ban them.
And so, Mike, we have the ability, you, Mike, you and me and Jeff, we've got the ability in the admin panel to either put someone in timeout or ban someone completely. So here's the thing. There are certain things that are just not tolerable. If someone's in there, because I'm going to build in the ability to, live stream. So video content in there.
That's really cool.
So if someone's on there, live streaming something wildly inappropriate, like a sex act or something along those lines, that's not going to happen. That's not going to fly. If someone's in
what
there,
kind of sex act?
It doesn't matter what it is. Any kind. Yeah, no, that's not going to work.
Follows I really need to know the left.
I just want to know the rules. I want to go by the rules.
Are allowed so that I know what's okay and what's not.
Yeah.
Is that okay?
Yeah, exactly.
Is that okay?
That's
I want to be aware of the rules.
Yeah, that's a wardrobe error. That's
oh yeah. The Super Bowl halftime.
I mean, look, we're not going to ban people for speech, unless you're talking about inciting violence or hurting kids. If you're doing any of those two things, you're out.
Or spam me in the chat.
You'll be lucky if I don't come find you. If you're talking about hurting kids, you'll be lucky if I don't come find you.
So, but any other type of speech, dude, speech is not violence. Okay. So you're not going to get banned for speech, but I want the community to be something where we talk about how we can get better and learn together. That's what I want it to be. I want it to be where we can discuss the lessons in DeFi University and the deep dives that we run through every day at the Node.pro and all of this new crypto and DeFi, all of these opportunities that we see every single day. I want us to have engaging conversations in there. And I want people to join this and get value from it. The community is free, man. So I think that jumping into the community and making that a place where we all engage together. And then if someone gets value from that and they want to jump on the premium live calls, either on Fridays or Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, well, then that's how we can monetize it. And then in the future, I think once the audience gets big enough, then maybe we can do something with it to monetize it in another way. But for right now, man, I just want to make this the best product possible.
The thing that I like about it, and I know we're kind of self-promoting here, but again, we're not charging.
It's true.
So it's not like we're shilling our project here. We're just trying to help you out. So bear with us. But what I love about our business model is that all the entry level stuff, all the stuff that's going to set people up for success, we give away. The advanced stuff, if they want to take it to the next level, that stuff we charge for. I love that. I think that is perfect because it's like, all right, I can learn about it. I can see if this is something I want to invest in. I can start learning about some of the projects, look at the deep dives, maybe find one that I can dip my toe in the water. This fundamentally looks like a good investment. Maybe you're in TradFi, but you've never dipped into the digital side. You can apply a lot of those same, aspects, and same metrics as traditional finance. Me and David came up with the trifecta. A way to value, put a valuation to these projects. And that's where you have
value capture, adoption, and
well, it starts out with adoption. So, without customers, you had to have a product or service, but without customers, you're not generating, any fees or revenue. So you got to have adoption. You got to have customers. Then from the services, that are being provided, the goods or services, then there needs to be fees or revenue that are generated. And that's great for the business. That's a perfect business model. That's TradFi. And that's how you evaluate a business, is how much business they're doing, how much it costs to operate. If you ever watch Shark Tank, you understand that. Now, digital assets. We needed to find a way that, how does the token, that you're buying? It's not a stock. It's not a security. What is it? What that is the, what we, I just lost my train of thought. Holy shit.
So Mike, it's basically, you need, number one, users and user growth.
Yeah.
And then
the value capture.
Those users, they need to drive revenue on the protocol. Yeah. And that's great. But then those revenues, they got to accrue.
I got my revenues.
Yeah, those revenues need to accrue to token holders in some way. Yeah, so, that's the whole trifecta.
Yeah. So basically, like with Hype, Hype is a crypto token. If you're watching and you don't know what crypto is, Hype is a crypto token, but it is a token that is launched by the business that is a decentralized exchange. And they do what David just said. They're a company, they have adoption because there's volume, there's people trading on it. It generates fees. Those fees are used to buy back the token and destroy it. So it basically makes less of it. And it's used in the ecosystem. So, to kind of operate within the ecosystem, you have to use it for different aspects. So it has value. So basically, it's just a new way to value these new assets.
Adoption, valuation, and value capture.
So adoption, revenues, and value capture. Value accrual. Yeah. So, yeah, man, I think that what we're building out here is, over the next couple of months, I think it's going to be a big hit. So
and I'm going through something kind of like what Mike was explaining right now, but with music. So I've taken all the free entry level courses over the past decade for music production and gotten as far as I could, right, with my free resources. And now I just started a mentorship program with artists just last week, with artists who are playing music festivals and have production level music that they put out. And it's not cheap, but if I want to take it to that next level and get to where they're at, then that's something I'm willing to pay for. But you have to be willing to put in the work and make sure that your time management skills, like if whatever area it is that you want to go take your skills to the next level in, you got to make sure your time management is dialed in, especially if you got a lot going on, day job and wife, kids, whatever, and that you're willing to put in the work because it's an investment in yourself. And, it's, you want to get expert advice and it could shave years off of that learning curve. If you want to accelerate that growth and not spend years and years just spinning your wheels, that's when it's good to take advantage of that. But you got to be willing to invest in yourself and make the time and put in the work.
Yeah, you see, Jeff, most people that I see that are good at what they do, they had a mentor. They consumed content but say, I learned most of what I know about crypto and DeFi from David. So he was my mentor and still is for a long time. It's true. And I'm sure that David had himself a mentor as well. So it's very not in crypto.
Crypto was the market.
Right.
I was obsessed. I still am. So, I was just driven every single day to learn as much as I possibly could. So it basically comes down to how bad do you want it? If you want it, then you can go out and you can get it for yourself.
That's how you make your entire living. So, you obviously figured it out.
coming out with a new product here. Hopefully I'll be able to start testing this with real capital over the weekend, man. That runway product.
Yeah.
Oh, dude. So one thing that I'm starting to understand here is that what people really want in crypto and DeFi is not really to learn about it. It's kind of
they want the magic app or the magic formula.
What they want is they just want to be able to make money. That's what they want. And so that's exactly people don't want to pay for education, man. And so we're not charging for any education, But what people want and what they will pay for is if there's a product that will allow them to make money consistently in crypto and DeFi. And so that's what Runway is
Such a
meant to
good
be.
point.
Yeah. And so it basically markets itself. So that's the goal, is to do that for people.
I love it.
Killer.
I need to make some food. And but I mean, if you guys want to keep going, go ahead. But if not, I'm gonna wrap things up here.
Yeah.
Sweet, man.
All right, cool. All right, so let's go around the horn. Jeff, actually, you know what, Paulo, you take the lead. You're the host. Send it around the horn. Make everybody give their closing thoughts.
Final thoughts about the markets, and is Bill Gates a bad guy for sure? What are your final thoughts, David?
Yeah, well, so if you go to a pedophile rapist island, then yeah, I'd say you're a bad dude. So I'd say, yeah, tick a checkbox on the bad dude part. But when it comes to markets, I think that, I think Bitcoin bottoms in October. And I think that what that means is throughout the rest of the summer, maybe throughout the rest of this month, we get more upside. But I think that into the later part of the summer, into the early fall, I think we get that move back to the downside that sets us up for the next bull run. So, yeah, man, I'm starting to become more bullish and just waiting for an opportunity to pick up some BTC. Now, that's going to be my largest holding for this next bull cycle is Bitcoin. And I am very, very bullish, not just on digital assets, but I'm very bullish on what we're building here at the Node.pro. I think that all of the educational content, all of the free resources, and importantly, the community that we're building, I think that is going to really take off during this next bull. So yeah, man, I'm bullish as fuck, boy.
Agreed. Jeff, your final thoughts on Bill Gates. Is he really a bad guy in the current markets?
Oh man, I despise that man. Just with everything he's done, not just here, but in Africa and all the weird shit that he said, and yeah,
just because he was injecting kids.
No, and I only met with Bill Gates 1 or 2 times. Like, no, dude, that whole thing. I mean, it's just you have to be a sick person to one, meet with him and do all that, but also to experiment on kids with vaccines and medical products or medical experiments in anywhere, and to think it's okay, like to justify that to yourself in thinking that you're saving humanity in the long term. It's pretty disgusting, and we really don't want people like that in charge of things, or running foundations.
And the bull market.
And the bull market, yeah. I mean, the cycle doesn't lie. So October, I'm getting my dry powder stack, and yeah,
I got the reference.
Ready to buy some stuff up over the next couple months.
Cool. What about you, Mike? What are your final thoughts about Bill Gates? Is he really a bad guy? And the node and the bull market.
So this is my final thoughts. Everybody in the chat keeps saying that Paulo sounds like this dude off of No Country for Old Men. We're gonna decide right now if this is true. Here you go.
Is something wrong?
With what?
With anything?
Is that what you're asking me? Is
Is
there
that what
something
you're
wrong
asking
with
me?
anything?
There's something
Anything
wrong with
else?
anything.
You already asked me that.
Well, I need to see about closing now.
See about closing?
Yes, sir.
What time do you close?
Now we close.
No, it's not the time. What time do you close?
Generally around dark. At dark.
So
You're spot on, dude.
Perfect.
Sounds like Paulo.
There's a little bit of a similarity.
Paulo did the voiceovers for No Country for Old Men.
If I ever
Call
see
it.
Paulo walking around with a silent shotgun on, though.
No, it wasn't. That's the thing, is it wasn't a shotgun. It was a pneumatic piston-driven, like that they used to kill cattle.
He also had the Remington with the silencer on it, though, too.
Right.
Oh, you know what? You're right. You're right. I need to add that to my watch list.
Yeah.
That's such a cool movie.
You should
That's
get
a
one.
very
That's a
cool movie.
dope ass shaka.
Oh, dude, for another time.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we appreciate you all. I appreciate all of you. Paulo, thank you so much. David, Jeff, Tinfoil Hat Man, all of you in the chat. Till tomorrow morning. Veteran Crypto out.
Peace.
Peace out.